Hey guys, welcome to Southern Gal True Crime, where we cover missing persons, cold cases, solved cases, every once in a while an infamous case, and more. And I hope everybody's having a good weekend so far. It's been good here. It's finally quit raining. It seems like it's been raining down here for 40 days and 40 nights, which wreaks havoc on the sinuses, so please excuse me. I'm going to try not to sniffle too much. All the pollen in the air down here, and like I said, the change in the weather. One day it's 70 degrees, one day it's 40 degrees, and it does a job on the sinuses, so I apologize for that in advance. Other than that, everything is good, and I thought today or tonight I would try out a new feature. Don't know exactly what I'm going to call it yet. I think in the thumbnail I put chillin' with true crime. I think I'm going to have to come up with a better name for that, so if you have any suggestions, please leave them in the comment section. But it's just going to be when I'm doing browsing and Google and just looking for stuff to bring you guys, I'm always coming across, they're kind of short stories, just little blurbs that really not enough information to do a whole video unto itself of, and most of them are really have to do with dumb criminals, which you all know there's a lot of dumb criminals out there, or just some really weird crimes that usually just involve nobody being killed. It's, you know, armed robberies and just weird stuff in general. So I'm thinking maybe every couple of weeks I'll do one of these features. Just go through some weird stories that I found interesting, and a lot of them are a little amusing. So after you watch this video, if you enjoy it, let me know in the comments, and I will definitely do some more of these. I'm also going to bring you this morning when I was browsing, I found an urgent recent missing person case. A couple of kayakers have gone missing, and this is from Arkansas, so I'll bring you that. Little housekeeping before we get started. If you like what we do here at Southern Gal True Crime, please do subscribe, hit the bell so you get notifications of when I upload new content. Like and share our videos. Most importantly, our missing persons and unsolved case features, because that is the most important thing that I want to do here, my small little part in trying to get that very important information out to the public. So, get in your comfy clothes, settle in, make yourself a drinky drink if you're so inclined, grab some snacks, and we will have some chill time with true crime coming up. Those stories I was telling you about, dumb criminals, weird crimes, and the like. But first, I want to bring you this important information, and I believe this article, get rid of the ad. Oh, come on, go away. It came out yesterday, or as I'm recording this video, was yesterday, March 16th, and it is from 5newsonline.com. And it says, father and son reported missing on Beaver Lake, which is in Benton County, Arkansas. The Benton County Sheriff's Office says that search and rescue for a missing father and son halted when vision and the weather got worse. Like I said, the weather was probably rain. It's been raining here for 2 or 3 days now. So it makes it kind of hard to search in that kind of weather. Benton County, Arkansas. The Benton County Sheriff's Office reports that a father and son are missing after a kayaking trip on Beaver Lake, and the search and rescue operation has been halted for the night due to weather and vision issues. The Benton County Sheriff's Office reports that the two left Lost Bridge on Beaver Lake at 11 a.m. Thursday in kayaks. Excuse me. I told you I apologize. My sinuses are acting up. The two left Lost Bridge on Beaver Lake at 11 a.m. Thursday in kayaks and were reported missing hours later. And here is a picture of Lost Bridge Village Recreation Center. I'm not too familiar with where I'm at, or with where that's at, because I haven't really spent a lot of time in that part of the state. That kind of gives you an idea. It's in Benton County. You can look it up. And I will put a link to this article in the description section so you can take a better look at it. And also please share it to try to help get this information out to the public, because that is the most important thing. Alright. Overdue kayakers. Benton County Sheriff's Office is asking residents in northeast Benton County to be on the lookout for two overdue kayakers that were on Beaver Lake in the Lost Bridge area earlier today. Father and son were in a fluorescent green and gray kayak. If you have any information regarding these individuals, please call 271-1005. And some more information. Benton County Sheriff's Office says that they found one kayak and one life jacket in the Pine Log Hollow area. The search is set to resume tomorrow morning. Any information on the missing kayakers' whereabouts should be reported to the Benton County Sheriff's Office. And it says 5 News will update the story as more information becomes available. And if hopefully they will find these kayakers alive. A lot of times it doesn't always work out that way, but we'll pray that they are found safe. And I will, if there are any updates to this case, I will bring them to you. And I think that's all the information they provided. Okay. So with that very important information taken care of, we will now get into our crazy stories of the week, or the weekend, as the case may be. So let me go to my tabs. And, okay, we've done that one. We'll get rid of that. Okay. And in these stories, there's some zombies mentioned. There's a criminal who's not so good at playing hide and seek. There are a couple of stories of criminals hiding some contraband in some interesting areas on their body, and I think we all know where that is. And also an army of turtles. So stick around to find out about that. That was very bizarre. Okay, so the first one we're going to take a look at is from the New York Post. And oh, goodness gracious. Once again, my camera. As you can tell, this is not a fancy operation we got going on here. I have my camera. I have a couple of apps I use, editing apps I use, Google, and then my own curiosity about what I find. So let me refresh, if it will let me. Okay. So this first one comes from the New York Post, and it is from June of 2017. So it's about 5 or 6 years old, but interesting nonetheless. This criminal is really, really terrible at crime, as most criminals are. At least the not so smart ones, to put it nicely. Alright, and here is a picture of the criminal in question. And he's on the right there, goodness gracious, get rid of the ad. No, we don't want to go back. I'm telling you, these ads drive me nuts. They mess with me on purpose. Okay, so on the right is Mr. Criminal, and on the left, apparently this is his idea of hiding from the police. So you can see, get an idea of how this story is going to go already. Alright. Jan Jan, Sivak did not do a great job hiding from the police. Well, that's apparent from the picture. A fugitive was nabbed by giggling cops after he tried to hide under a bed with his legs sticking out. There you go. Jan Sivak, 30, was wanted for failing to turn up to court for a burglary rap. Officers turned up at his home in Halifax, West Yorkshire. So I'm assuming this may come from the UK. Sorry, I didn't look at the beginning of the article to see where it was from. Yes, a town 200 miles north of London, in a bid to find him, but had no idea how easy it would be. So, and as one law enforcement officer that I know always says, you don't catch the smart ones. Although sometimes you do, but it is much easier to catch the dumb ones. They took a picture of their lazy suspect, adding on Facebook, he won't be winning any awards for hide-and-seek champion soon. Apparently. He needs to take some lessons from Bigfoot, because we all know Bigfoot is the master of hide-and-seek. Sivak admitted failing to surrender to bail during a brief appearance at Bradford Magistrates Court on Thursday and was jailed for 14 days. Lawyer, I'm going to do my best to pronounce these names, Lawyer Gulfraz Khan said Sivak had tried to get to court for Tuesday's hearing but did not have enough cash for public transportation. Alright. Once again, here's another picture of Mr. Sivak playing hide and seek. Not doing a very good job of it. He said Bradford is some distance from Halifax and there is no possible way he can work. He had tried every possible avenue to attain some money for travel. Detective Inspector Gary Stevenson said, this arrest was part of an ongoing proactive police operation targeting those who are wanted by the police. The 30-year-old man was arrested by officers on Thursday after he failed to appear at court for burglary offenses. During the hearing, Sivak denied stealing $5,800 in cash and other goods in an alleged raid on a fish and chip shop between June 3rd and June 4th. So apparently he was wanting some dinner or supper. He was remanded into custody until July 28th for trial at Bradford Crown Court. Alright, so once again, let's take another look at Mr. Sivak trying to play hide and seek. And apparently he doesn't have any shoes. And as always, I'm not trying to make light of, we don't know this man's, his story. He could be homeless or whatever the case may be, so we do need to have a little bit of sympathy for if that's the case. But anyway, I just found that was a little amusing. Alright, so let's see what we have next up. Alright, we got that one. This, and I have read through these, so I kind of have an idea of what they are about. And the next one comes from, let me refresh just in case. I don't want to get in the middle of the article and have to refresh it. This comes from the New York Post, and it is from May of 2019. Okay. Man allegedly shoots himself. Okay, hold on, I think I got it. Okay. Man allegedly hiding drugs in his butt accidentally shoots himself in the testicles. Okay. So that was one of the what I was saying about criminals' propensity for hiding contraband in a certain place. And apparently this backfired really bad on him. Alright, so here is a picture of the alleged perpetrator. Cameron Jeffrey Wilson. And it says, a bungling felon from Washington State made a series of blunders, apparently, obviously, when he shot himself in the testicles, oh my goodness, and tried to hide the weapon, all while storing drugs in his anus, a report said Wednesday. Cameron Jeffrey Wilson, 27, was carrying a pistol in his front pocket while in his Kashmir, Washington apartment on April 5th when the firearm accidentally discharged and pierced his groin and thigh, according to the Wenatchee World News. So, not a good day for this gentleman, for Mr. Wilson. Wilson, who is a 13-time convicted felon, told his girlfriend to dispose of the weapon before heading to the hospital, the paper said. When the ex-con finally went to the hospital, a balloon of marijuana slipped out of his anus while a doctor was operating on the gunshot wound, court records show. Why these alleged criminals pick this particular place to hide their contraband is beyond me, especially knowing that that is one of the first places where law enforcement searches. Oh, go away, ad. Oh my goodness. Once again, the ads, they do this on purpose to me. They're out to get me. Okay, where are we at? Cops also arrived at the hospital when alerted of the gunshot wound, which is standard case. Usually if somebody shows up with a gunshot wound, the authorities are called. Cops also arrived at the hospital when alerted of the gunshot wound and searched Wilson's car, where they discovered a bag of meth in the blood-stained jeans he was wearing when he shot himself. So apparently he didn't put all his contraband up there. The officers used an arrest warrant for Wilson, and he turned himself in to police on April 18th. As he was being processed in the Chelan County Regional Justice Center, Wilson was strip searched, and another balloon of marijuana slipped from his anus, the paper said. So I'm wondering how much you can actually get up there. Or maybe I don't want to know. While in jail, Wilson made a number of calls to his girlfriend and asked her not to cooperate with investigators working on his case, and authorities were listening in on all the calls. And that's another thing that gets me. Any alleged criminal who's been in jail more than once, they know that these calls are recorded, but yet they can't keep their mouth shut, and they blab, 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 and get themselves into more trouble. The convicted felon, oh, come on. The convicted felon was charged with possession of a firearm, unlawful possession of meth, possession of a controlled substance in a correctional facility. And that's another thing, because I watch, of course, a lot of live PD cop shows, and that's the first thing that they tell these alleged criminals when they're going to be taken into an intake facility. They ask them, do you have any other contraband hidden anywhere? Because if they do, and they go into the intake facility, and it's found, it is an additional charge. So they get into even more trouble. But yet, many, many times I've seen it happen. They get in there, they're searching. What do they find? Usually in that part of the body. More contraband, therefore another charge. Okay, the convicted felon was charged with possession of a firearm, unlawful possession of meth, possession of a controlled substance in a correctional facility, and 4 counts of tampering with a witness. Assuming that's the call they heard where he told his girlfriend not to cooperate with the police. And hopefully the young lady was smart and did cooperate with the police, or she will be in trouble too. Wilson was being held on a $110,000 bail and due in court on June 18th. Alright, so that is our first story about contraband being hid in the usual place. Excuse me 1 minute. Let me grab a drink of water. Alright. Sorry, I apologize about that. But like I said, I apologize for my voice. Once again, allergies killing me. Alright, so now we will move on to the next story. Alright, we got that one. Okay, and this next one is apparently another one about hiding contraband in the usual suspected place. Alright, and this also comes from the New York Post, and it is from September of 2020, so just 2 or 3 years ago. Man, come on with the ads. Man sentenced after police find loaded gun in his buttocks during strip search. Once again, in the buttocks. And here is a picture of the alleged perpetrator. This is Justin Savoy, and I believe this comes from Louisiana. A Louisiana man chose the cheekiest, see what they did there, of places when he needed to find a quick hiding spot for his gun. Justin Savoy, 24, pleaded guilty Friday to weapons charges after police in the town of Golden Meadow, who were arresting him late last year on a separate matter, discovered he had stashed a loaded .25 caliber Titan pistol in his buttocks, the smoking gun reports. I think that's a little ironic that the smoking gun reported this. Police had taken Savoy into custody on December 28, 2019, after they responded to suspicious, oh my gosh, this ad is driving me nuts, to suspicious activity in a home he was occupying with a female acquaintance, the report said. Cops said they discovered Savoy possessed a handgun, marijuana, and drug paraphernalia during an initial search. Multiple other firearms were discovered in his truck at the scene, the report said. But as Savoy was being strip searched after his arrest, police reportedly found the additional surprise weapon concealed in his rear end. Alright, the pistol is more than 4 inches long with a 2.5-inch barrel. So how do you get something of that size up your rear end? Once again, I think that's one thing I really don't want to know when it comes down to it. Savoy was sentenced to a 5-year suspended prison sentence during a district court appearance. He received 3 years probation and an order to serve 90 days in the Lafourche Parish Jail, the outlet reported. As part of the terms of his probation, he's barred from owning or possessing firearms, visiting bars or lounges, or indulging in excessive use of alcohol or illegal drugs. And most of the time in these cases, alcohol is involved. So that might have a little bit of bearing on why these alleged criminals decide to hide their contraband up their rear. Because when you're drinking, you're not really thinking too straight. Alright, I think that was that one. Alright, so another contraband story. Alright, we'll move on to the next. Okay, and this one, it doesn't concern any contraband in the usual place. It does involve salsa, which I'm a big fan of salsa, but after I read this, I might think twice before eating salsa, especially in a restaurant. So, we will get into this. Oh, there goes my camera again. I keep hitting it too hard. Okay. And this comes from, let me refresh, oxygen.com. A lot of these stuff, oxygen.com is a very good source of information for these kinds of stories. And I also do enjoy the Oxygen channel. They have a lot of good programming there, true crime programming there. All right, so this is from March of 2019. And this was listed under the weird crime section. And judge says, there is nothing about this situation I find cute or funny. Judge scolds man in court for gross salsa crime. And yes, it is very gross. So you may want to tune out on this one. Howard Matthew Webb laughed in court after pleading guilty to an amended charge of misdemeanor assault, offensive touching, after dipping his testicles in salsa. Let's just let that sink in for a second. Dipping his testicles in salsa. Alright, and here is the alleged offender, Mr. Webb. Alright. A man accused of dipping his testicles in salsa that a customer ordered online nearly derailed his plea deal with prosecutors when he laughed in court. So not only did he allegedly perpetrate this crime, he thought it was funny. The Knoxville News Sentinel reports 31-year-old Howard Matthew Webb pleaded guilty Tuesday to an amended charge of misdemeanor assault, offensive touching, which I don't understand that. Apparently, well, I guess he offensively touched the salsa, which is a crime in itself because salsa is some good stuff. He apparently chuckled after entering his plea and was scolded by Blount County General Sessions Court Judge Robert Hedrick. What are you laughing about, Mr. Webb? Hedrick said, according to the News Sentinel. There is nothing about this situation I find cute or funny, and it's abhorrent. And yes, on a serious note, it is abhorrent. Anyone who would do this to a food product that people are going to consume, it is a horrifying thought. And makes me, like I said, it makes me think twice about ordering, when you order, and I'm sure, well, I'm going to say I'm sure it doesn't happen very often, but then again, I have read a lot of stories about these kinds of things happening. Usually it's somebody relieving themselves in somebody's food, which is just disgusting, obviously. Alright, Webb was arrested last month and initially charged with felony adulteration of food. Okay, I didn't know that was an actual crime, but I'm glad it is. A delivery driver allegedly recorded it and posted a video online saying, "This is what you get when you give an 89-cent tip for an almost 30-minute drive," according to local CBS affiliate WVLT. Food service company Dinner Delivered said it has fired the driver, well, that's a relief, and sent information about, it says her, to authorities, WLVT reports. But the picture is of a male, so I'm a little confused about that part. All right. These acts appear to be motivated by singular personal frustrations of this sole contractor and are absolutely not reflective of the behavior of the remainder of our capable and custom-oriented delivery force or the principles and values of Dinner Delivered. And this is not a delivery service. I'm familiar with. I've heard of the DoorDash and the other ones, but I haven't heard of this particular one. But then again, I don't use food delivery services, so. All right. The company said in a February Facebook post, news outlets report Webb was sentenced to 6 months probation. He will need to serve 30 days in jail first, but will get credit for the 21 days he's already been incarcerated, according to the News Sentinel. Maryville Police Chief Tony Crisp said on Tuesday that the case remains under investigation, according to the News Sentinel. Okay. That was not really amusing, but really a little more than slightly disturbing. Interesting nonetheless. All right, so we will move on to the next. Oh, come on. Okay, get rid of that one. Okay, and if you're, please, I would love to hear your comments and thoughts about these stories. So please leave them in the comment section, and I will go through and read them. Because like I said, these are very, very, very interesting. Sorry, once again, let me get another drink of water before I continue. Okay, so sorry. All right, okay, so now we're coming to the Army of Turtles story. Oh, goodness. Gotta quit being so forceful with my camera here. Okay. Oh my goodness. I'm so sorry. I've got to invest in a tripod. I have a tripod here somewhere, but I can't find it. So I'm going to go out and buy a new one as soon as I can. Okay. And this is from April of 2019. Once again from Oxygen.com. Self-proclaimed saint threatens to destroy Florida town with army of turtles. Okay. Army of turtles. Thomas Devaney Lane was yelling out obscenities constantly, calling himself the saint, saying his turtle army will destroy them, and stating they would all see what would happen in an hour. Police in Indy Atlantic, Florida say. And I'm not familiar with where that's at in Florida. Okay. Oh, I didn't refresh, so we don't have a... Hold on. Let me try to refresh and see if we can get a picture of Mr. Delaney. Refresh. Alright. There. Okay, there is Mr. Delaney on the right. And I'm assuming that's one of his army of turtles there on the left. Okay. Alright. A self-proclaimed saint threatened to unleash an army of turtles upon boardwalk goers in Florida, police say. Thomas Devane Lane, 61, is accused of disturbing people on Wavecrest Avenue Boardwalk in Brevard County on Sunday by yelling out obscenities constantly, calling himself the saint, saying his turtle army will destroy them, and stating they would all see what would happen in an hour, according to an Indy Atlantic Police Department area arrest affidavit obtained by Oxygen.com. Customers from a Starbucks smoothie shop and local cafe along the boardwalk were all disturbed, according to that report. Police wrote that they received 7 different calls about Lane's behavior from different locations on the boardwalk. At some point, Lane even entered the police station and proceeded to yell at the dispatcher while pounding on the walls and glass, according to the arrest report. He left, but allegedly continued to harass the dispatcher at a local 7-Eleven parking lot. Lane allegedly cursed the responding offer and other customers. I'm assuming that's the responding officer and other customers. Then he calls 911 as I watched him and told the operator over the phone that I needed to leave now or you will all be sorry you effed with the saint, an officer wrote. Lane apparently entered his car and refused officers' directions to get out and was forced to be removed from the vehicle as he continued to yell obscenities at us and other passersby about how his turtle army would destroy us. Okay, so the first thing they should have done is call on the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles to help out with this case, because they are the heroes on the half shell. They could have nipped this in the bud. And I have 2 younger brothers, so I had to watch hours and hours of TMNT. Not to say I didn't enjoy it, but after a while it gets a little old. Alright, Lane was arrested and charged with disturbing the peace, resisting arrest without violence, and misusing 911, according to online records. He was released on bail. It is unclear if Lane has an attorney who can speak on his behalf. So I'm wondering what kind of defense they would come up for threatening to unleash a turtle army. I do not know what the turtle army defense would be. Okay. Next on the list. Alright, so we went through that one. Now this is interesting, a tiny bit amusing, but also a little bit disturbing. Nobody was killed, but the victim did have some injuries. So we will refresh. Well, did we refresh or not? Okay, apparently we were refreshed. And this, once again, from Oxygen.com, and it is from April of 2019. Woman allegedly beat boyfriend with his own prosthetic leg after he broke up with her. Kind of an extreme reaction, but once again, on the serious side, at least no guns were involved. And when I saw this about the prosthetic leg, it reminded me of an episode of The Sopranos, which is one of my favorite shows, where one of the episodes, nobody was beaten with a prosthetic leg, but apparently somebody stole one of the characters' prosthetic legs, or was accused of stealing it. It was a very funny episode. And if you've never watched The Sopranos, if you're a fan of that genre, I suggest you go check it out. Okay. It's not every day you find someone who's been beaten by one of their own limbs, said Jason Rivard, spokesman for the Jefferson Parish Sheriff's Office. And this is the alleged perpetrator, Michelle Jackson. Alright. A Louisiana woman was arrested after allegedly beating her ex-boyfriend with his own prosthetic leg after he tried to break up with her. Michelle Jackson, 58, was arrested on April 10th and booked for aggravated battery. Jason Rivard, spokesperson for the Jefferson Parish Sheriff's Office, told Oxygen.com that Jackson and her 59-year-old former boyfriend had been dating sporadically for about 6 years. On February 11th, the pair began swigging gin at Jackson's home. Once again, alcohol is involved. I'm sorry about the ding. I forgot to turn off my notifications again. So hopefully they won't intrude too much. While they were drinking, Jackson's boyfriend told her he was interested in another woman, and he suggested that they call it quits. Well, there was his first mistake. I can understand if he wanted to call it quits, but maybe when they were swigging some gin, as they put it, might not be the best time to break this information to his girlfriend. He says he wanted to do his own thing. Authorities said the man was unharmed when he dozed off around 11 p.m. at Jackson's home, but at 1 a.m. he awoke with a gaping cut that was oozing blood. He's covered in blood, Rivard said, and he realizes that she beat him with his own prosthetic leg. His right hand was also swollen, and it is unclear whether the man's prosthetic leg was attached when he fell asleep. And if it was attached, I'm wondering how she managed to get it off of him without him waking up. But once again, the alcohol could have had something to do with that. After the altercation, he left and returned later in the morning to recover some of his property that he left behind, added Rivard. That's when he told police about the assault. He was in possession of his prosthetic leg at the time police made contact with him. So apparently he was able to retrieve his leg and take it with him when he took off. Following the alleged attack, Jackson fled her home. She reportedly phoned a family member and told them that she might have killed her ex. Jackson also admitted to stabbing him, according to Rivard. However, investigators did not find any stab wounds on the man, which is good news. On April 10th, Jackson was arrested by U.S. Marshals. She was being held at the Jefferson Parish Correctional Center, but posted a $5,000 bond and was released on April 12th, the Jefferson Parish District Attorney's Office told Oxygen.com. Prosecutors haven't formally pressed charges against Jackson yet, but are currently reviewing her case. Rivard, the Jefferson Parish Sheriff's Office spokesperson, said the assault was one of the most bizarre cases his department has ever handled. Well, I would assume so. Like you said, it's not every day that someone gets beaten with their own prosthetic. It's not every day you find someone who's been beaten by one of their own limbs, he said. Oxygen was unable to reach Jackson's attorney, Chad Rice, for comment. Court documents also show that Jackson is now prohibited from possessing firearms and must stay 200 feet away from her ex for at least 1 year. And I would hope that the alleged offender, would stay away from this gentleman for the rest of their natural lives, because apparently they don't get along very well, at least when they're drinking. Okay. So I found that very interesting. We will move on to the next. We got a few more to get through here. Okay, and this one I found amusing because it involves Kevin Bacon, not the Kevin Bacon you're thinking of, and 90s sitcoms, which are two of my favorite things. Alright, let's see if I need to refresh. Hit refresh. Okay. Once again, from Oxygen.com. Man named Kevin Bacon allegedly hits cop car while looking up Saved by the Bell episode, which Saved by the Bell is one of my favorite 90s, 90s TV shows. No, it wasn't the actor Kevin Bacon who allegedly became distracted looking up a specific episode of Saved by the Bell while driving in Vermont. And here is a picture of the alleged perpetrator, Mr. Kevin Bacon. And yep, that doesn't look like the Kevin Bacon that I know from Footloose. Alright. It may sound like the plot of a deranged sitcom. Kevin Bacon has a little fender bender with police while looking up a specific episode of Saved by the Bell on his phone and fails to come to a screeching halt. You can see what they did there? A little screech. I love Screech. And I think, unfortunately, the actor who played Screech passed away a few years ago, which is very sad. It's not a sitcom, though. It's real life. Just this Bacon isn't the famed 6 Degrees of Separation actor Bacon. He's a 55-year-old man from Vermont. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. Who is apparently on a mission to watch a Saved by the Bell episode while driving. The incident unfolded. I'm sorry, I'm going to have to get a drink. I'm so sorry. I wish this pollen and rain would get out of here. Oh my goodness, I apologize. So this would all clear up. Okay. The incident unfolded Thursday afternoon when I'm going to say Thetford. I'm not sure of the pronunciation. When a Thetford Police Department cruiser was assisting a broken down vehicle on a highway. The cop car, which had stopped in the breakdown lane with its emergency lights flashing. This is another thing I want to take time out a second to get on my soapbox. So important. If you ever see first responders, blue lights flashing, red lights flashing, highway department, please move over to the left, because there are so many incidents of police, EMS, highway workers that are killed while by somebody just not paying attention, drivers not paying attention, and just hitting them, resulting in their death. Okay, I will get off my soapbox, but that is very important to keep in mind, please. Okay, the cop car, which is stopped in the breakdown lane with its emergency lights flashing, was allegedly sideswept by Bacon from behind, according to the Vermont State Police. After the swipe, Bacon reportedly drove a short distance excuse me, before coming to a stop, only to continue fleeing the scene of the crash. The driver of that cop cruiser quickly tracked Bacon down, and soon the state police would hear a bizarre explanation for the collision. A state police investigation found that Bacon was looking down at his cell phone, which is another no-no when you're driving. Do not do that. At the time of the crash, as well as several minutes beforehand, and never saw the disabled vehicle or the marked police cruiser, police wrote. Further investigation revealed that Bacon was using an internet search engine to search for a specific episode of the 90s television sitcom Saved by the Bell while he was driving. Excuse me. The Huffington Post reports he was searching for Screech's Spaghetti Sauce, an episode in which the gang produced a television show for communications class, with the sauce Screech makes during the cookery segment proving a hit. And I think I do remember this episode. They decide to market it, and Screech gains a girlfriend, but he refuses to believe she is using him, according to an IMDb description of the episode. Bacon was arrested for gross negligent operation of a vehicle and leaving the scene of a crash. He is due back in court on July 31st. It's not clear if he has a lawyer who can speak on his behalf at this time. Nobody was hurt in the crash, thankfully, and damage to both vehicles was minor. So I just thought that was interesting, because like I said, I was a fan of Saved by the Bell and Kevin Bacon. So I wanted to bring that one to you. Alright. So that's that one. Okay, and this story involves a horse as a getaway vehicle. So, let's see what this one's all about. Alright, let me refresh. Okay. Once again, Oxygen.com, and this is from July 2019. Florida man brings getaway horse to burglary, authorities say. Who takes a getaway horse to a robbery? The surprised owner of the home said upon Lonnie Maddox's arrest. Alright. A man calling himself the Rooster brought a horse to act as his getaway from a home burglary in Florida. But the horse wandered away while the man ended up behind bars. Authorities arrested 52-year-old Lonnie Maddox Thursday after he and a horse named Angel were spotted on security camera footage wandering around a Newport Richey home, the Tampa Tribune reports. Deputies from the Pasco County Sheriff's Office, and a lot of these stories come from Pasco County. I'm not saying anything against Florida, but just saying. Deputies from the Pasco County Sheriff's Office said Maddox allegedly tried to open a screen porch to get into the padlocked front door of the home, but later decided to enter the home through the back window, causing about $100 worth of damage. As Maddox tried to break into the home, the horse wandered off, leaving Maddox to face authorities on his own. So apparently the horse said, "I'm out of here. I don't want to have anything to do with this," which is a smart thing to do. Alright, the homeowner, Steve Ferguson, spotted Maddox on security footage and called the sheriff's office. Ferguson had bought the property a year earlier and planned to use it as a rental property, but had installed the security cameras and no trespassing signs after the home was broken into in the past, according to Bay News 9. He later said he was surprised to learn Maddox had been aided in the burglary by a horse. Because, yeah, that's something you don't hear every day. Alright, and apparently this is a picture of Mr. Maddox. And I wish they would have included a picture of the horsey. I want to see the horsey. I digress. "Who takes a getaway horse to a robbery?" he said, according to the Tampa Tribune. After making the call to authorities, Ferguson drove to the property himself and encountered the unexpected surprise. "Upon arrival, I saw the horse running up the street," he told Bay News 9. When deputies arrived at the scene to respond to the burglary call, Maddox reportedly approached them to ask whether they had seen a horse, the arrest report said. And can you imagine the police officer's reaction when he said, "Hey, have you seen a horse running around anywhere?" Not in everything day that you might see. Well, in Florida it may be. Who knows? He told investigators that the horse had gone through a broken fence at the property and that he had simply been following the horse. He claimed he had looked inside the home because he was considering renting the property. Okay, that's a story you want to go with. More power to you. Maddox also reportedly told Ferguson a similar reason for being on the property. "I said, 'What were you doing in my house?' Ferguson said. The guy said, 'My horse broke into your house.'" So now he's blaming the horse for breaking into the house. "My horse broke into your house, mister, and I had to go in and get her." I said, "Okay, so she broke into the gate, and then the porch, and then the house." Okay, we'll go with that story. Oh, goodness. Oh, stop. Go back. Oh, my goodness. Sorry. Technically, okay. Angel was recovered about 2 miles away from the site and was later reunited with her owner. Thank goodness. So I'm assuming that means that Mr. Maddox was not her owner. So maybe he stole the horse. That poor horsey. What she had to go through. Alright, Maddox did not own the horse, and it isn't clear whether or not he had permission to take her on the alleged crime spree. So Angel the horse was an unwilling participant. Mr. Maddox is now facing burglary charges. Alright, so that is the first story I've ever heard of a horse being used as a getaway vehicle. So I thought that was a little bit amusing. Most important thing, the horse is okay. Alright, next story. This one, let's see. I remember reading through it. I don't remember exactly what the premise was, so we shall find out together. And refresh. Okay. And this is from September of 2019. Somebody stole an entire Ohio roller coaster in broad daylight. Someone went off the rails and took this Union County Fairgrounds child's ride for a joyride. All right, good Lord. Okay, and as unbelievable as it may sound, someone took an entire roller coaster for a joyride in Ohio, and investigators were trying to figure out who did it so they can return the ride back to the fairgrounds it was yanked from. Why would somebody do this? But once again, we are dealing with alleged dumb criminals. The Go Gator Carnival Roller Ride, a coaster sitting on a purple and green trailer with alligator train cars, was apparently yanked from Union County Fairgrounds on October 28th, the Union County Sheriff's Office announced on Wednesday. Someone in a white pickup truck attached their vehicle to the kids' ride and drove off with it, all in broad daylight, ABC News reports. The culprit was spotted by a traffic camera with the coaster attached to their truck. Yeah, that's something that I believe would be very noticeable going down the road. You won't be able to miss it. They're believed to be driving a white Dodge Ram 2500 or larger model with a flatbed with no visible front plate. The coaster trailer itself had a rear license plate, which is registered in Maine. There is no information about what the suspect or even suspects may look like. And here is a picture of the roller coaster ride attached to the back of the white pickup. So yeah, I think somebody would notice something like that going down the street. But then again, when they're bringing my southern coming out, bringing these rides into, when they're setting up these local, just in my experience, these local county fairs, you do see these types of vehicles bringing the rides into to be set up. So it might not have attracted a lot of attention. Why would someone go off the rails for a ride like this? The 20-foot, and I found this interesting, the 20-foot long ride is 35 years old and is worth about $35,000. That blew my mind, according to a trade retailer. However, it's worth more than money to the people in the area. Of course, it's nostalgic. It'll be nostalgic to the people of the area, which I completely understand. It has sentimental value to residents in Marysville who have ridden the Gator train cars for years, according to ABC. This is my father's ride, one user wrote in the comment section of the Sheriff's Department announcement. It's been in our family for around 35 years and has great sentimental value. And that is, like I said, this is an amusing story, but that is the sad part of this, is somebody, a town, a family losing something that has great sentimental value to them. And this is, I don't know, the story is a few years old, so I don't know if they actually recovered the roller coaster, but I will give you, it says, anyone with information on the missing coaster is urged to contact Deputy Kevin Regano at 937-645-4110 or Lieutenant Mike Justice at 937-645-4130. And I will try to do some research and see if this ride was actually recovered. Okay, so that is that story. Ooh, I think we just got maybe one more to go. So, get rid of that one. Okay, and I really enjoyed this one because I'm a fan of, I haven't watched the Breaking Bad series yet, but I am a fan. I have been watching the Better Call Saul series, which is an excellent series. which takes place, I believe it's the prequel to the Breaking Bad series. So as soon as I finish up, I'm way behind the Better Call Saul series. I'm definitely going to start digging in and binge watching Breaking Bad. All right, let me get one more drink of water. Okay. And here we go. Let me refresh if I need to. Okay. And when you see the picture of this alleged perpetrator, it's going to blow your mind how much he looks like a character from Breaking Bad. Alright, alleged meth addict is a dead ringer for Walter White, sending internet into Breaking Bad joke frenzy. Ironically, Todd Barrick is wanted for an alleged probation violation relating to meth possession in Galesburg, Illinois. So here we go again, or here we go with the Breaking Bad references. Okay. The mugshot of a squinting Illinois man posted by police online has led to the comment section erupting in Breaking Bad gifs and remarks about the suspect's uncanny resemblance to the show's main character, Walter White. And it doesn't help that the suspect is accused of a meth-related crime. And when you see this picture, trust me, it will blow your mind. The Galesburg police posted the image to their Facebook page last week, seeking help tracking down Todd W. Barrick Jr., 50, who is wanted for an alleged probation violation related to possession of methamphetamine, KWQC, a local Illinois outlet, reports. While Barrick is yet to be captured, I said this is an older story, so he might have been captured. Once again, I'll try to find updates on some of these stories and bring them to you if I find them. While Barrick is yet to be captured, his mugshot has captured the imagination of social media commenters who love how much he resembles Walter White, the iconic character played by Bryan Cranston, who is an amazing actor, in Breaking Bad. In the show, White goes from high school chemistry teacher to methamphetamine dealer. He's about 50 years old, like Barrick. He's bald, he wears glasses, and he sports a goatee, though White's goatee doesn't have hints of purple and pink like Barrett's goatee appears to have. I guess we have a spoiler for the Breaking Bad movie, one commenter joked. And here is the picture. Now look at this. On the left is the alleged offender in this case, and on the right is Mr. Bryan Cranston in his Walter White character. Now tell me, that is just an uncanny, they could pass for twins. That just blows my mind. Goodness gracious. They say everybody has a doppelganger, so apparently, and I forgot the gentleman's name, Mr. Barrick is Mr. Bryan Cranston's doppelganger, which I'm sure Mr. Cranston would not be happy about. Okay, sorry for the sniffle. I apologize. Have you tried Albuquerque? Perhaps at Los Polos Hermanos, another asked on the police page, which refers to a restaurant featured in the AMC show. The comment section is now filled with references to the show that most fans would certainly get, including, "I would never turn in Heisenberg." Word on the street is that he is the one who knocks, and he's in the house with a pizza on the roof. And like I said, this is an older story, but anyone with information on the whereabouts of Walter White's doppelganger is asked to contact the Galesburg police at 309-343-9151 or the Galesburg area Crime Stoppers at 309-344-0044. And you can also text your tip to Galesburg Crime Stoppers. Alright, so that, like I said, let me go back to this picture. That just blows my mind how much this gentleman looks like Bryan Cranston. And like I said, I haven't actually started watching Breaking Bad yet. I'm finishing up Better Call Saul, and then I will dive into Breaking Bad. All right, so I think, let me make sure that is, yep, that was the last story that I have to bring to you today, and I don't even know how long my videos run. Anyway, so I hope you enjoyed this. Please leave comments in the comment section about any of these stories that I brought to you today. I would love to hear everybody's thoughts. Just please always be respectful and nice, and keep it clean. And also, if you enjoyed this feature, please do let me know in the comments, and I will try to do some more of these. Like I said, maybe every other week or so when I gather. My saved page section on my phone is just filled to the brim right now, because anytime I'm browsing and come across a story that I find interesting, or that I might want to do a video on, I'll save it. And this, another, this doing this feature will also give me a way to try to clean out my browser, and so I can keep up with what I'm doing basically on my phone. Okay, so everybody, I hope everybody has a good rest of their weekend. Before you go, please, if you found this video entertaining, informative, please like and share it to friends, family, any true crime groups you may be in. If you like what we do here on Southern Gal True Crime, please do subscribe, hit the bell so you get notifications and when I upload new content. Like and share our videos. Most importantly, our missing persons features and unsolved case features, because those are the most important information that I want to get out to the public. Until next time, thanks for watching.